Hey guys, it's Lord of the Pogs. Before we get started today, I just want to say thank you to all my subscribers for helping me get my YouTube channel monetized. Now, it's not a lot. This isn't some gold mine I'm sitting on. I'm not going to go out and buy a Porsche with my YouTube earnings. I'm going to keep my day job, which you can hear me talk about in my video titled, It's What I Do. But you know what? That's okay, because I'm not in this for the money. I'm in it because I enjoy doing it, and I really believe in the content that I'm posting. But what I will ask is that if you like what you see, please consider dropping a tip. You can drop a tip by clicking on the heart with the dollar sign in it. Now, I'm not going to be using these tips to live some posh lifestyle. I'm going to invest it in new equipment so that I can continue producing more high-quality YouTube videos. Last week, I ran a poll on Twitter asking what you want to see from my YouTube channel, and the response was overwhelmingly myths and urban legends. If you know me at all, you know that I love Asian horror movies. In fact, it's right there in my bio. So today, we're going to talk about Japanese urban legends. First up is the doll with real human hair. The story goes that in 1918 in Hokkaido, Kikuko Suzuki received a traditional Japanese Okappa doll as a gift. She loved it so much that she carried it everywhere, but when she died from a vicious cold, her family kept the doll in a shrine dedicated to her and named the doll Okiku. The doll is believed to contain the spirit of Kikuko Suzuki. But they soon noticed something odd. The doll's hair, which was previously in a bob, had started growing. No matter how many times they tried to cut the doll's hair, it kept growing back. Frightened, the family passed the doll to the monks at the Meninji Temple for help. There, the doll remains to this day, slowly growing human hair. Scientists have analyzed the doll and confirmed that the hair belongs to a human child. This perplexing phenomenon remains unexplained to this day. The temple is open to the public so you can verify it for yourself. I haven't gotten to go personally, but it's on my bucket list. Unfortunately, photography isn't allowed, but when you go, you'll notice that the hair has grown past the doll's knees. Not to be confused with the Okiku doll, the urban legend of Okiku inspired the movie The Ring. I'm not going to go too far into it because I made a video about this urban legend previously, but basically, a young servant girl named Okiku lost a valuable golden plate owned by a samurai who threw her into a well. Desperate for revenge, Okiku's spirit climbed out of the well and drove the samurai mad with her incessant screaming. Next up is the Red Room Curse. This modern urban legend started from a flash animation called The Red Room. What started as a baseless rumor turned into a real-life tragedy in the early 2000s when an 11-year-old girl in Sasebo, Nagasaki stabbed her classmate to death. The Red Room Curse begins with a pop-up on a computer screen when you're alone in a room. It has a red background with black letters asking, "Do you like it?" As the victim frantically tries to close the pop-up, more words appear until it reads, "Do you like the Red Room?" The entire screen becomes red and a list of past victims appears. Whether something supernatural comes or the victim is compelled to do the deed themselves is not known. This urban legend remained a myth until a murder was committed in 2004. Known as the Sasebo slashing or the Nevada Tan murder, the incident involved an 11-year-old girl killing her 12-year-old classmate, Satomi Mitarai, with a box cutter by slitting her throat and arms. The murderer came to be known as Nevada Tan because she wore a Nevada sweatshirt in a photo. During the investigation, police referred to her as Girl A, a common pseudonym in Japan similar to Jane Doe in English-speaking countries for young girls involved in criminal cases. Girl A was taken into custody, but gave no motive until the following day when she said it was the result of an argument the two had had online. The murder sparked a debate in Japan about whether the age of criminal responsibility lowered from 16 to 14 in 2000 due to the 1997 Kobe child murders, when two children, 11 and 12, were murdered by a 14-year-old boy, needed to be lowered again. Human sacrifice in Marioka Castle. Hirobashira is a type of human sacrifice practiced until the 16th century, where lords would bury people alive in the foundation of buildings to appease the gods, and in return, the gods would protect the building. It's also a term used somewhat loosely for workers who are unintentionally buried during construction. Marioka Castle in Sakai is home to one of the most famous Hirobashira stories. One of the castle walls kept crumbling during its construction no matter how much it was reinforced. It was then suggested to the castle lord to make a Hirobashira. A one-eyed peasant woman named Oshizu was chosen for the sacrifice. The poor mother only asked that her sons be made samurai after the ritual. The lords agreed, and Oshizu was buried under the central pillar of the castle keep. But the castle lords didn't keep their promise for whatever reason, and Oshizu's sons were never made samurai. Afterward, the moat would overflow every spring rain. Legend said it was caused by the tears of Oshizu's sorrow, and the community erected a tomb to appease her spirit. Inunaki Village. The Inunaki Tunnel is considered one of the most haunted places in Japan. Large concrete bricks block its entrance, but adventurers still manage to get in. People say that electronic devices and even their cars break down around the tunnel, and the sounds of dogs barking and people screaming emanate from deep inside. Trek a little further down a path near the tunnel, and you may find Inunaki Village. The real mystery of Inunaki Village is whether or not it even exists. Supposedly located deep in the countryside, this abandoned village is said to be only accessible through Inunaki Tunnel. The stories say that all who enter the village are doomed to a violent death. Legend has it that the entire village has been isolated since the Edo period in the 1860s, so it's full of people who were born and grew up completely isolated from civilization. You'll know you're in the right place when you see a sign that says, "The Constitution and laws of Japan do not apply here." Past the sign, there's a broken-down sedan left by a couple who entered the village and never returned. There's zero phone reception in the village, so you'll be on your own. If you choose to continue past the sign, do so at your own risk. The villagers are said to turn violent at the sight of outsiders, so be prepared to be attacked with axes and machetes. Kuchisake-onna. There's a few different variants of the Kuchisake-onna legend. Some say that her husband slit her mouth as revenge for infidelity, which is similar to the events in the Italian horror movie The Haunting of Helena. Others say that a dental or plastic surgery went wrong. But the most classic version of the legend says that another woman was jealous of Kuchisake-onna's beauty, so she decided to eliminate her competition. Whatever the case, Kuchisake-onna roams the streets with a handkerchief or a mask covering the lower half of her face. She'll walk up to you and ask you if she is beautiful. If your answer is no, she'll slit the corners of your mouth in a fit of rage. If you say yes, she'll reveal her face, repeat her question, and hack you into pieces. But there are ways to escape. You can confuse her by repeating the question, asking her if you are beautiful. You can also come up with a third answer, and some say that if you offer the name of your nemesis, that she'll go after them. Akumonto. This tale revolves around a male spirit wearing a white mask and a red cloak, or Akumonto in Japanese. The spirit is said to only haunt women. When victims go to the bathroom and realize they're out of toilet paper, he'll emerge and make them choose between red or blue toilet paper. If you choose blue, he'll either suffocate you or suck out all your blood. If you choose red, he'll disembowel you. To escape, you have to politely refuse his offer. Japan has its own Bloody Mary urban legend. This legend sounds to me a little bit more like Candyman, and Hanako-san is summoned much like her Western counterparts. If you enter a bathroom on the third floor of a school, knock on the third stall 3 times and ask, "Hanako, soko ni imasu ka?" or "Hanako, are you there?" You might hear a faint reply, and that's your cue to get running. If you wait around, you'll see the stall door slowly creak open, revealing Hanako in a red skirt and her hair done up in a traditional bun. She'll grab you and drag you into the toilet. Other versions say that she'll ask you if you need a friend, and regardless of your answer, she'll drag you underneath the stall. Hanako's origins are unclear, but some accounts say that she was hiding from her murderous parents, or that she was the victim of a bombing raid during World War II. Tiki Tiki. If you ever visit train tracks at night and hear a curious scratching sound accompanied by the silhouette of half a woman, you've just encountered Tiki Tiki, the spirit of a woman who is torn in half by a train. Her real name is Kashima Raiko. She was run over by a train and torn in half. Desperate to survive, she dragged herself across the train tracks toward the station staff in search of help, only to be cruelly tossed back onto the tracks. Since then, her spirit is said to roam the tracks in search of the rest of her body. If you encounter her and she asks you where her legs are, tell her they're at Meishin Expressway. Tomino's Hell is a poem by Yaso Saijo. Written in 1919 after Saijo lost his family during World War I, it tells the story of a child who descends into hell and includes quite disturbing imagery. The beginning reads, "Elder sister vomited blood, younger sister vomited fire, and the cute Tomino vomited glass beads. Tomino fell into hell alone." It's believed to be about a child who murdered their parents. In the poem, Tomino descends to the lowest levels of hell, reserved for those who murder their parents. People have claimed that the poem causes headaches, illness, and even death if it's read aloud in its entirety. In 1974, director Terama Shuji released a movie based on Tomino's Hell called Den-an ni Shishu. 10 years later, he died from liver disease, sparking more rumors about the poem. Thanks for watching. If there's more urban legends that have freaked you out, please let me know in the comments. And again, if you like what you see, please consider dropping a tip. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit that little bell in the corner to get notifications on more videos like this one.